People are drilling holes into their iPhone 7 so that they can have a plug-in headset jack. Okay, I'm having a very hard time believing this one. In an article from Fortune, there are quotes, which were originally YouTube comments, stating that after attempting to modify their phone with the drill, it's no longer working properly. Now my old headphones fit in, but the phone doesn't work anymore. I tried this and ended up with display destruction, and it's not working. I really committed the biggest mistake of my life by watching this video. Sure, there are some naive people in the world, but come on, really? I mean, seriously, you're capable of operating a phone, setting up a Google Plus account, posting comments on YouTube, incomplete sentences I might add, and we're supposed to believe that this is really happening. People are drilling holes into their brand new phones. So I had to see this video for myself, but something interesting happened when I searched for drill headset jack into iPhone 7. The second result, not the first, is a video from a user named Snapcase. In the first position, a video from Tekdry, the guy who loves to destroy iPhones. Out of curiosity, I watched the second video and Snapcase has a caption stating that Tekdry copied his video. According to publishing dates, it does look like his video went up first. Now, does that mean that Tekdry stole the idea? Not necessarily, but I did find it interesting that he does seem to be getting way more views despite posting a day later than the original how to add a headphone jack to your iPhone 7 went live. One thing's for sure, this video got a whole lot of views. Could it be that these articles are just basically clickbait designed to drive traffic to the video? I'm going with pics, or it didn't happen on this one. We should have seen some proof by now. Snapchat, or Snap Inc. as it's known, just released its very first hardware product, Spectacles. This is a pair of sunglasses that has built-in cameras that you can use to record whatever you happen to be looking at for up to 10 seconds. Sound familiar? Why not just use the app built into your phone instead? Well, sometimes your camera isn't ready when you need it, so there's one advantage to having an almost always on or easily turned on camera. That'd probably be the first advantage. Outside of that, you have hands-free capability, so if you're recording while you have your hands occupied in one way or another, that would kind of make sense. But you could always use like a GoPro harness or helmet if that's a concern and something you're going to be doing on a regular basis. So here's what Evan Spiegel, the CEO of Snap Inc. says, and I'm paraphrasing here. The images that you can record with these glasses are fundamentally different in that they record things the way that you see them. The cameras use a 115-degree angle lens, which is wider than a standard phone camera, and instead of a rectangle or square, they record a circular video more like human vision. So I take this to mean that what is recorded will look like what you see through a pair of binoculars. But how do you watch the video if that's the case? This sounds like it would make a lot of sense if you were creating maybe a 3D video for VR gear or something like that, but otherwise it seems like a circle would just waste a lot of space if you're watching a recording that someone sent you on your phone or by email. The main concern, of course, is whether these will suffer the same fate that Google Glass did. A lot of people do not like to be photographed or recorded without their permission, and this, of course, despite the fact that there's really no right to privacy in a public place outside of places like restrooms or dressing rooms where you have what is defined as a reasonable expectation of privacy. If you remember, people were getting their Google Glasses ripped off their faces, or worse yet, being assaulted, which kind of killed the whole program. And these spectacles are not exactly discreet. It sounds like they could have some potential, but no one wants to get punched in the face over what they wear, especially at $129 per pair. What blew my mind is the value of Snap Inc. A few years ago, Facebook supposedly offered $3 billion to purchase Snapchat, and Spiegel said no. The company is now said to be worth somewhere between 16 to 22 billion. Staples is testing a new machine that's designed to rescue wet cell phones. Now this one really got my attention because a lot of our time is spent working on phones that have gotten wet one way or another. So imagine how cool it would be to just drop your wet phone into a machine, press a button, and have it come out dry and working like new again. This is another one that I have to question with a high degree of skepticism, and I'll show you why in just a second. So the guys that invented this thing went on Shark Tank and now have some retailers testing out whether or not to order more, I'd imagine, depending on how it works out for their customers. The machine is said to use pressure and low heat to remove moisture from a wet phone. So I called a store near me that has one so I could get more information on how exactly they were treating wet devices that come in. And the rep told me that for a smartphone, there is a flat $70 fee, but that fee only applies if the recovery is successful. The process is supposed to take about 30 minutes, but he suggested that I drop off my phone for at least 2 hours. Fair enough. When I asked him about the success rate, though, he really was not able to give me a straight answer, but stated that it would depend on how soon I got the phone to him once it had gotten wet. Now, this totally makes sense, but I would also expect any good salesman to say the same thing about any product. It's kind of the old get here fast. If you wait, you might miss out. I will give the Tekdry people credit, though, for acknowledging that rice will not do much for a wet phone. I'm surprised that they claim it works any better than natural evaporation that takes place with or without the rice. They say it's about 2% more moisture is removed from the phone, and I'd love to see the testing that they did to come up with this number. I'll make a separate video later on explaining why putting your phone in a bag of rice will not resurrect it, and unless the phone wasn't really wet on the inside in the first place, it's not really going to make a difference whether you put it in rice or not. In fact, it's usually worse for the phone than anything else. Now, here's one of my problems with wet cell phones. There are all sorts of areas inside where moisture gets trapped and causes corrosion, and it's not just the water that you have to worry about, it's the impurities that are left behind. Depending on what got your phone wet in the first place, there can be all sorts of garbage left over that can cause damage now or in the future. Getting the water out is only the first step to treating a wet cell phone. If you don't get the other stuff that gets left behind, there's a good chance that your phone won't be working for long. You might get lucky if your device was water resistant and just got splashed a little bit, but a lot of the models out there that are still being used, especially when they're submerged in a pool, a toilet, or any other body of liquid, has some long-term effects that can leave you without being able to make a phone call when you need it the most. That's it for today. I'll be back soon with more information about smartphones and smartphone news. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them down in the section below. And by all means, remember to hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for watching.